So, you might have seen a small game called Spider-Man at E3. It closed out the Sony press conference. Pretty big deal. So, let's bring on stage right now Bill Roseman, the Executive Creative Director at Marvel Games, and Brian Intihar, Creative Director at Insomniac Games.
Give it up! Hey, buddy! Hey, man!
How's it going?
Yo.
So, Spider-Man.
I like the red, too.
Yeah.
Gotta be on brand, right?
Hey, Empire State University, is that where you went?
It's an amazing institution of higher learning.
Guys, we're so incredibly excited about Spider-Man. I mean, we're all a bunch of web heads here, right, guys?
Yeah.
A little bit. So, can you talk about the game and what goes into creating it? Because it's massive. This is a big game.
It is big, and I mean, it's funny you mentioned that because it's our most ambitious game yet. I mean, it's really unprecedented to have Marvel working with Insomniac and Sony. And yes, it's going to be huge. It's going to be massive. But at the same time, we're really telling a very personal and human story. And I was reminded of that yesterday. I was actually sitting out there, and I was watching Joe Quesada during his Cup of Joe talk, and he was telling a story when he became editor-in-chief, and he went into Stan Lee's office, and he said, "Stan, what's the key to telling a Marvel story, creating a Marvel character?" And Stan said, "Hey, you can have a character in a cool costume on the edge of a building, and they can jump off, and you can look and say, well, that's a pretty cool costume." But Stan said, if you can get the people to care about the person under the mask, if you get to know who they are, who they're fighting for, what they care about, then when that character jumps off the building, you are with them jumping off the building. And when I was a kid and I read my Spider-Man comics, whatever was going on in my life, it went away.
Yeah.
And I was with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And so when we decided to make the game, we wanted to find a partner who understood that, who not only could tell amazing stories, who not only had a spectacular level of quality, and could also bring the fun of Spider-Man. But most importantly, we wanted to find friends who grew up with Spider-Man just like us. And we found that perfect partner in Insomniac.
Aww. Love that.
You guys are going to make us cry up here.
Love
Make me
it.
cry.
So, as you said, Insomniac, huge pedigree, very great wealth library of games, and we all love them, and they're super fun to play. So, can you tell us why you chose to do a Spider-Man game this time around?
It's Spider-Man. I mean...
Good answer.
I mean, for me and for everybody in Insomniac, I mean, quite frankly, this is a dream come true. I mean, look at that character. I mean, look, we are just like everybody out there. We are fans. We love this character. We love Marvel. And when it comes to Spider-Man, he just fits our studio culture, our personality so well, from his sense of humor to the relatability to telling that human story, but also swinging around New York City, all those gadgets, all the quips. It fits Insomniac perfectly.
Yeah. So, Bill, it's a new universe and it's a new story. It still has the DNA of actually being Spider-Man, but could you tell us a bit about the new world that you guys are creating?
Yeah, well, we were really inspired, in fact, by, there was a comic book series called Ultimate Spider-Man.
So good.
Might have heard of it.
So good.
And when they launched that book, they
amazing.
were retelling the Spider-Man story from the very beginning, but in a new way. They wanted to keep readers guessing, and we were really inspired by that. So you will see very familiar faces, but you will see them in new positions. You'll see a mix of characters you know very well, and then there may be some characters that you don't know, but that you're soon going to love. So we want to keep everybody on the edge of your seats and tell an all-new original Spider-Man story. We're going to tell our Spider-Man story.
Ah, that's so cool.
So, did you bring a video for us, Bill?
Well, I think not only do we have a video, well, why don't you take it away, because you're in it.
So, as I said, I'm up here representing Insomniac, but I'm just part of an amazing team in Burbank and in North Carolina that are working on Spider-Man. And we have, it's video game development is challenging, tough, but also exciting. And we have a little piece that shows you what it goes into making Spider-Man.
Awesome. The greatest thing about working on a Spider-Man game is that you're working on a Spider-Man game. The hardest thing is that it's a Spider-Man game. We really care about storytelling here at Insomniac.
And I think that's how we go into every day we come here. There's this push to really get it right.
One of the most compelling things about Spider-Man is just when Peter Parker and Spider-Man's worlds collide. And we've tried really hard to weave the two stories together to create a story that is not necessarily just a superhero story, but a human story as well.
So this Spider-Man is a little different. He's older. He's 23, so he's been Spider-Man for 8 years, and kind of like an athlete in the prime of his career, he's starting to get good at the Spider-Man thing.
The nice thing about playing an experienced Spider-Man is that he's already familiar with his powers, right? He's not just discovering them.
We always think of Spider-Man as, we call him, the acrobatic improviser. He's looking for not only how he can take advantage of the way the enemies are positioned, but what around him. Could he use this object to grab with his webs and throw it at an enemy? We want people to not only see the enemies in front of them, but the environment around, to take advantage of both of them.
He also knows that the criminals out in the city know how he works as well, so he's got to mix it up.
So even though he is more experienced, the challenges are going to be bigger than he's ever faced before.
Spider-Man has a rich history of having great stories. The core of our story is this duality between being Peter Parker and being Spider-Man. What's cool about Mr. Negative is that he also has a duality. He's got his positive side as Martin Lee, who runs the homeless shelters in the city, but he also has his negative side.
Martin Lee. When Peter makes the connection that the leader of the inner demons is the guy who my aunt works for, we got the perfect collision of those two worlds.
So many people have their own vision of what Spider-Man should look like, what he should sound like, and in the end, we just have to put a new and fresh twist on who he is.
And for us, it's really, really important to deliver those big spectacle moments, those near impossible scenarios that only someone like Spider-Man can survive, and put you in that action.
You got this, you got this, you got this!
We understand what this character means to people in here, and we're making this game with a lot of heart, and we're going to do whatever it takes to give people the ultimate Spider-Man experience, the game that they've been waiting for.
Oh man!
Yeah!
It's so good!
Yeah. So good. I have chills.
I've seen that video like 200 times, and I still smile every time I see it.
It's incredible. I cosplay like as Spider-Gwen, and I love the Spideyverse. So I'm.
Wait, so when am I going to see the White Spider version of your?
When is it? I got my suit. I'll be right back.
Okay, all right.
No. Okay, we'll just finish this up, guys. There was something we had never seen before in that video. There was Peter's apartment, and he was fighting Fisk. That's exciting.
Yeah, well, we wanted to bring something new to the D23 crowd, right? So those two scenes that you saw, they talk about those colliding worlds. Like, we're going to get very personal. So you see where Peter Parker lives when he has the mask off. You see what's all in his room, and all those elements make Peter who he is. And so we're getting very, very personal and intimate with Peter. And then at the same time, you see him, once he pulls on that mask, he goes out in the world and he fights huge characters like Wilson Fisk. So again, we're going to see, it's a fresh new way to see both sides of this character's life that we love.
And that's just really a small glimpse at some of the characters you're going to see in this game.
Yeah, that's just the opening.
That's just the opening of the game, in the beginning of the game. So we have a huge cast, lots of villains, lots of them.
Yes.
And I think people are going to be pretty excited.
I'm pretty excited too.
Me too. Okay, so we've talked a lot about the story side of the new Spider-Man game, but everyone wants to know, I want to know about, and everyone's worried about it, is the web swinging, the traversal, the parkour. Can you tell us a bit about that?
As Peter says in the video, we got this. We got it. We're going to be good. We're going to be okay. Yes, nailing the web swinging is crucial. It's a requirement. And I mean, even since, E3 was a month ago, we've already improved our web swinging. It's easier to gain speed now. Yes, we've read all the feedback online and we're reading all that stuff. We listen to you guys a lot.
Yes.
And we are, constantly looking to improve the game. So, we want to continue have that sense of flow, fluidity, no obstacles too big for him to overcome. And that takes, get that with the traversal, but also in the combat, combat's evolving every single day. You saw one of the gadgets, that web tripwire, right? Well, you can stick it in objects, but I can also stick it onto an enemy, and if they're close enough, they just slam into each other. So we want to have gadgets that really allow him to have a lot of fun during combat as well.
That's awesome. I can't wait to play it.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Brian.
Thank you for having me, guys. Have a great show.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah. Woo! I am
Spider-Man.
So much Spider-Man stuff.
Awesome.
That's pretty great.
It's amazing. It's spectacular. It's superior. It's going to be the ultimate Spider-Man experience.
That's pretty good. I feel like you've said that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in the back of his head.